Hey everybody, welcome back. In the last video we left you on a cliffhanger with a mystery car, and I'm here to introduce today one of my good friends and customer, Bill.
Hey Dave, good to see you.
Yep, good to see you again.
Hey YouTube.
Hey, so what got you into cars?
Really, I'm just any other car guy. I'm just another car guy. I've always liked cars from the time that I could drive, you know, and it's just something I've never put down. I think my first car was a old Triumph sports car, and I've just kind of progressed from there and owned a wide variety of different things, from sports cars to family cars, but really it's the older classic cars that I really kind of like, and what I brought you today to try and get back on the road.
The mystery car.
The mystery car.
So what other kind of cars do you own besides the mystery car?
So you've worked on my Porsche 993.
The 993,
It's a 95 C2 coupe. I also have a 1995 Lotus Esprit Turbo. Haven't seen that one down here, knock on wood.
Not yet.
And I also have a 1982 Porsche 928.
Porsche 928. You ready to do the big reveal?
Well, let's do it, Dave. Let's show them. Give them what they want to see.
Yep. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the mystery car. There's a lot of people in the comments guessing. Some of you got close. Some of you actually were kind of correct, and some of you are way off. So what this is a 1974 Datsun 260Z. It was only made for 1 year, 1974 only, and here it is in all its glory. So Bill, how did you find this Datsun?
Well, that's a great question, Dave. I think, if any other car guy out there watching would love to come upon a find like this. This was a ad that popped up on the old Facebook marketplace. Said that, there was a car advertised with 10,000 original miles. Well, I thought the ad was fake, but I decided to give the guy, send the guy an email anyway, just to see what he said, and make a long story short, he gave me a long story as to how he ended up with this car and how the car was walled into his current shop in the back of his house. So intrigued, I went out to go and look at it, and sure enough, it panned out. A true 10,000 mile original car that has essentially been off the road since 1982.
So where was it located exactly?
So I found the car. It was in a small town north of here in Heston, Kansas. We broke it out of long-term storage and trailed it right here to Dave's shop.
So many of these cars, they turn out, they list them as a barn find, and you get there and it's like a disaster. And so what were your thoughts when you were on your traveling on to go look at this thing?
Well, when I was driving, I thought, well, there's no way that this is an original 10,000 mile Z. It's going to be a rust bucket. The odometer is probably rolled over. Talk the guy down and get it for a few $1,000.
I see. So once you arrived, what was your first impression when you looked at it?
Well, when I saw it, obviously there was no visible signs of rust.
Right.
It was packed pretty tight into the back of a shop, and it was walled in and kind of surrounded with just a whole lot of recyclable metal and other recyclables that were kind of stacked to the ceiling. This thing was right in the middle of it. So I squeezed in between the car and the wall, and I got underneath there, and the first thing I saw when I shined my phone light underneath there was a shiny muffler on the back, and I could tell that was an original factory Datsun Z muffler, and it looked brand new. So that was a really good sign, and I got pretty excited when I saw that. Next thing I did was I moved to the front of the car and I looked for that nice crease in the side of the door, and it had that. So there was no sign of any Bondo, there was no sign of any repaint. I looked behind the wheel and I could see the original shocks, I could see original springs, and I could even read one of the stickers on the shocks that said Datsun on it. Went underneath the hood, you could still see some of the original inspection stickers in ink, the original inspection stamps on some of the parts underneath the hood. So I was pretty convinced at that point that this was an original 10,000 mile car, probably the lowest mile Z in the country outside of an automotive museum.
So once you made the decision to pull the trigger and purchase this car, did you have any trouble actually getting the car out, or was just to open the garage door and pull it out?
The previous owner of this car, he got it from his uncle, who was the first owner of the car. His uncle was a Navy doctor, and you can still see the Department of Defense sticker on the front bumper. Well, the uncle had some carburetor issues with the Z, and that's pretty common of Zs of this era. And he was really described as a hands-on kind of guy. So instead of taking the Z to the dealership and having them fix it, he put it into storage and was going to get back to it. Well, unfortunately, the gentleman died, and that's where the car sat. It sat in storage, but 13 years ago, his nephew went and retrieved the car from California, trailered it back to his home, drove it into his garage. It was a garage at the time. He got some pretty big ideas about wanting to have a shop. So he ended up walling the car in while he was expanding his shop, and then just never got around to putting a garage door in. So there the car has sat. The car was originally walled in completely in California, and then it was walled in his shop up here. So it has literally been off the road since 1982.
So you're telling me to get this thing out, you had to actually pull the wall
We
down?
actually had to tear down the wall, tore the whole wall down, and we pushed it out into the street.
So that probably explains why the bumper was off. Is that how he had to actually fit it into the building? Or
Yep, the bumper was off just so he could have more room to squeeze it in.
been like in a time capsule this whole time?
I mean, the interior smells new.
Yeah.
There's not a crack in the dash. The seats look new. I mean, there's a few little dings here and there just from it being pushed around in the shop, and 8 years leading up to it going into storage the first time it was driven, but it wasn't driven very much. You know, this was the doctor's weekend cruiser, so that explains why the miles are so low on it.
With it being 10,000 miles, are these like actual documented miles? You have proof of it?
They are. The title reflects 10,000 actual miles on this car, and anybody that sees it, obviously, had professionals such as Dave look at it. Everyone who sees this car just knows when they see the condition and the condition of the parts. These are all original parts. They're all in really very, very good condition. This car was rarely used.
And you have a lot of other original documentation. You have the original sales
I do.
paperwork and
I've got
everything.
the original sales paperwork. I've got the original insurance cards for it. I've got the original warranty cards for it. Everything that they gave the doctor when he purchased the car, I have, other than the window sticker. I don't have that.
So once we get this thing back on the road, what are your plans with it?
Oh, I think I'm probably going to keep it for a while.
It's going to be a keeper for a while?
Yeah, I think so. It's just so unusual, and you just never find them in this kind of condition. You know, I like to, be able to take my vehicles to Cars and Coffee like everyone else and kind of let other people enjoy them and look at them. How about that?
So basically, to get this thing back on the road, Bill, we're going to start with the brakes. We're going to work with the clutch, basically the hydraulics of the car. And then we're going to do the cooling system and the fuel system.
So what's wrong with the hydraulics?
They're just, the rubber is rotted out on them. They've been sitting, like the brake fluid has deteriorated, the rubber and the lines and everything like that. The
So
steel
look
lines
like the
are fine.
Exxon Valdez in there?
Yeah, it looks like a sludge.
Yeah.
So
I figure after 45 years of sitting, you're going to have nothing but sludge, huh?
right, and you had mentioned to me there was no fuel in the car, so the fuel tank should be dry. We'll go through the
Ish.
fuel system, dry-ish.
Should be dryish.
We got the steering, suspension to check over, and then any seals or gaskets we might need.
I might not have been completely forthcoming about the fuel part.
Well, we'll find out, I guess. So it's in really good condition. I can't believe it really is a time capsule. Should we try and see if we could turn it over, or maybe see if it even starts with some starting fluid?
Why not?
See,
Good game.
yeah, okay. Well, first of all, let's see if it even turns over.
We know it has oil in it because I know I saw you checking that.
Yeah, I have
It's got
checked the
in
oil.
it.
It's actually got coolant in it, just the way it was left, so we're not starting it dry or anything. So let's see what happens here. Let me push the reset button on here.
There we go.
It turns over.
It does turn over. How about these old Hitachi carburetors, the old Hitachi flat top carbs?
It looks like a British SU carburetor.
Yeah. The previous owner had told me that he took them apart completely and rebuilt them, but he never actually fired the car with with the carburetors being rebuilt and put on there. So I have no idea if those are even going to work.
That'll be part of the whole fuel system and go through them and see what they did. I guess we could, I'll spray a little starting fluid, see if it wants to try and take off.
Sure.
I got some sitting right over here.
I wonder what kind of shape these little spark plugs are in.
Who knows? They probably look new. I wouldn't be surprised.
And here we go.
Here we go.
The big moment. Yeah, it kind of wants to.
It wants to. I believe if the fuel system was clean and we had the carburetors working, I believe it would just sit there and run just fine. Just like it would have in
That's
1974. Amazing. It is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm thinking on this build, this isn't the cheapest Datsun in the country.
Well, yeah, probably not the cheapest Datsun in the country. So
No.
your buddy, what's his name? Tyler?
Hoovie's Garage.
Yeah, so he probably wouldn't be interested in something like this.
No, he might be at $2,000.
Yeah. I don't think I'd sell it at $2,000.
No.
Do you know anybody else that might be interested in perhaps, I don't know, an automotive review on this car? Do you know anybody like that would want to do something like that?
Sure. I think Doug DeMiro would be very interested. Yeah.
Doug has some pretty amazing videos, pretty amazing reviews.
He'd be able to look over the quirks and features of this car and probably tell you more than either of us know about it.
Maybe he would like to review the lowest mile 260Z in the country.
I think so. I think he'd be
That could be
interested
fun.
in it. You don't have any plans to bury this in your backyard, do you?
No, definitely not.
Or put nitrous on it?
No, I think we're going to have to leave this all original.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't do, things like, I don't know, drop Corvette motors in the back of my Porsche, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to keep it the way it was when it was
It's an interesting
new.
idea, though.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. This was the mystery car. It's no longer a mystery, but it is truly a gem. Most times these barn finds don't end up this way. It's usually very much disaster. You go to look at it and it's like, oh my God, rats have chewed it up or buildings have fallen on it or who knows what. This was like a once in a lifetime find. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the little bell while you're there, and we have many more videos underway that you're going to really enjoy. Thanks for watching.